Okay.
Well, folks, Todd finally got to eat. His delivery finally showed up, and the guy's busy. So we're gonna let him try and eat and pod at the same time, folks, because that's real life, and we're all busy. But we were talking about Dan Seaman, not sure where I left it. So what I wanted to know was he talked about in his podcast that you really helped him, get going, that you helped him become a coach. And then I saw you both played for the Bracknell Bees, but no, you guys didn't actually play together, did you?
No, no. He lived with my roommate and best buddy on the team. He basically replaced me as his roommate and best buddy.
Oh, that's okay. That's hard.
But because of that, I hung out with Dan a lot. Like whenever we went to Bracknell, I had beers with him and stuff. So
Bit of a bromance.
I love him. I think he's a great guy. Yeah.
Yeah, well, my MBA is more important than his gold helmet, and he can suck on that, right? So anyways, no, I was just curious because you must have seen some kind of potential in him or something, because it sounded like you helped him become a coach.
I don't know about that. I can't even remember. Like he was.
Do you know what I think I just realized? I'm going to cut you off there. Is I don't think you realize what you do for people's lives. I don't think you have any freaking clue. No, I don't think you do. I think you're just running around trying to get your chicken from the door, and you have no idea, and your office is a mess, and you're just living away, and you have no idea what you do for people's lives.
You know what? The most disappointing part of that is that my office is actually a mess, and I wish
I know that.
But it's got marble run and Lego everywhere because I had Noah, my 4-year-old, in here with me for about an hour today. So that's why I'm working late, because I'm playing catch up because Noah was here all afternoon. So
anyway, are you calling this work?
No, this doesn't count as work. No. No, Dan was coaching, like I think it was a player coach in Dundee or something, or Fife. And
yeah,
maybe
you got him in with Dundee, he said.
No, maybe I did. I can't remember. Honestly. He was Dan was a really good player, like a really, really good player. He did really well at this league. And it was weird. He was playing in Sheffield one year. I think it was Sheffield. And he called me. I was in Belfast, and he got fired from Sheffield. He was their leading scorer. And in the middle of the season, he got fired. And he called me and he was laughing. He's like, I've never had this before. I got fired in the middle of the season. And I think that might be when he went to Denmark or something. And then I don't know, but he's done well for himself. I actually talked to him this summer before I hired Scaldi, before I interviewed anyone, and I talked to him about coming here. But then he got a job in Austria.
Right. No, he's a good dude, and like for me to have him on my podcast years later, and like they didn't ask me back, but I also got the answers I wanted of why they didn't. But I really respected that guy as a coach, as a person. He told it like it was. He was a real person like you are, and the way it should be, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, I don't even know where we're at anymore. My notes make no sense. But then you go from wherever we're talking about to 8 years as a player for the Belfast Giants.
Yeah. Was it 8? I think it was 7. I don't know. You don't know. It was 7. And then I came back as a player GM for like 8 games or something.
That's a GM/player question mark on the notes. Thought last year there was like 12 games.
No, before that, the full season before that, my last full season, I was GM player the whole year from like, because the owners called me in. The owner called me in, and I think it was like, I want to say it was September, October, and they offered me the job. And we had just won the league the year before. I just made the all-star team for the league. And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm 31. I'm in my flow. I'm playing great. And they're like, yeah, no, we think you can be a better GM than a player. And we can always find a new defenseman. So we want you to run the team. And I said, listen, why don't I learn the ropes from the current GM and then I'll keep playing, because I'm not really ready to finish playing. I want kind of one last year where I know it's my last year of playing. And this is my 10th year of pro hockey. So I want a testimonial. And they're like, oh, can you have a testimonial when you've only been with the team for 7 years? I'm like, oh yeah. As long as it equals 10, you're fine. which is complete bullshit. But I really needed that testimonial in Belfast. So so I had a testimonial, retired, finished playing, never to play again, and then I had to come back.
Can I stop you there? Because actually one of my notes here, if the fans could see it, I might take a picture of it. I just wrote testimonials and I wrote an arrow to, did you retire your own number? um, so question. So you kind of answered it. So hold on. You kind of answered it. So
No,
7 years you played, but you get a testimonial. So where's Pigs' testimonial? Why am I not coming back? I don't get it. No, where's Pigs' testimonial if you got one? Enough's enough, Todd.
So I didn't retire my own jersey, right? So the jersey retirement came a few years later when I was the GM. And to be honest with you, I think the CEO of the arena, or of the Odyssey Trust, who owned the team, or no, I think they owned the team at that point. They were the one that said, we're going to retire your jersey. But I think they had this perception that a jersey retirement was like it would be in the NHL, where it would guarantee a sellout. So they retired my jersey pre-season, like my last year there. And I said to them, I was like, man, no offense, but no one's going to care. No one's going to come in August against Bolzano for an exhibition game because they're retiring my jersey. So that's when my jersey got retired. So I wasn't pissed off. I could care less when they did it, but the guys that worked for me.
But you're the GM, don't you get to decide when?
Yeah. So the two guys that worked for me, they came to me and they are like, hey, we weren't going to tell you this, but they've decided they're going to retire your jersey against Bolzano. And we know that you're so anal that, like, if it's not done the way you want it done, you'll be pissed off. So we're telling you, we're not supposed to tell you that they're doing it, but the three of us planned my jersey retirement. So like who I wanted there, who was going to speak, when I was going to do it.
Or else it would have been a mess.
Yeah, it would have been a mess. So, and it was a mess anyways. The microphone kept cutting out. It was terrible, but it was a great honor. It was awesome to get it done. But they flew back my best buddy, who I played with in Belfast. They flew him back basically to get drunk with me for 3 days, which was fantastic. That was a nice gesture. And yeah, so it's cool. Everyone knows me very well, knows how much I love Belfast. I love that place. I love playing there. I loved running the team. It's always got like a special place in my heart. Even when I go back now, I kind of feel like, I don't know. I love that place. Great place to live. Great place for my kid to be born, and I love playing there. And I genuinely do like Cardiff better. I do like living here better. But I never played for the Devils, right? I played for the Giants. So it's hard to compare the situation, because it was cool to get to run the team that you played basically all your pro hockey for. That was a real honor. And but yeah, it was cool.
So I guess I had a couple questions written down. You've answered a few of them, but speaking of Pig's testimonial and your testimonial, what you did have, I believe, right? What is that for our global listeners that have no idea? Because I had no idea what a testimonial was.
The folks at the Bayfield Brewing Company?
The Bayfield Brewing Company have no idea what a testimonial is, because I didn't know what it was, but I can't wait to you know what? I didn't get to go to Mark Richardson's, which sucked because I didn't have accrued enough vacations in my real world. But I got to go to Wally Night, which is pretty cool. So that was cool. But tell us what a testimonial is.
So testimonial is basically when it's supposed to be you play 10 years for the same organization in the UK, and you get it was started in football years ago. I think it was kind of like your retirement gift. Like when you retire, you get one game, you get to keep the gate. I think now testimonials are more for charity for footballers because they make so much money. But I think back in the day, it was kind of like the retirement gift. So for players, it's kind of like your retirement gift. Like it's, you get to sell all the tickets, you invite your buddies back, you play like a pickup game of hockey, you hold a jersey auction, you make a bunch of money, and yeah, so it's a good tradition. I think there's been so many lately just because so many guys have been playing longer now. But when I played, like there were barely any. And I think I was very lucky because I was the first one in Belfast to have a testimonial. So I got to bring all the boys back from like the glory days, and so I had a great crowd, and yeah, it was fun, a lot of fun. Nowadays they're terrible to play in because like no one cares, right? Like no one like the fans want to be there because they want to experience it and they want to see the old guys, but like you're rolling out guys that might haven't played hockey for a few years. It's more about like supporting the person and supporting the player, and then like the jersey auction is always crazy, especially in Cardiff. Like Richie's jersey auction was insane. So
I was supposed to be at Richie's. I did get the invite, and it killed me. Killed me to watch on Twitter and everything what you miss. But you do start work at a later age, and you all start with 2 weeks, folks, and
Yeah.
you work your way up from there. I finally got there, folks. I feel like I get some days off and we're all good, and it's great. But that first transition, I know there's a lot of people that that struggle with it. But okay, another question. I'm not going to ask you about Theron Fleury because I know you played with him, because that, you know what? I want to know more about, I think you're the GM at this point, and one of my favorite songs in the world is All I Want for Christmas.
There you go. So I was the GM. So I had this idea for years.
That's your idea? So you just come up with this idea? Because my God, that's a great tune.
I had it for years, and I just was waiting for a team that I thought was fun enough to do it. And I talked to Dougie Christensen, who's the coach of the team, and I was like, listen, I got this ridiculous idea. I know you're probably going to say no because it's going to involve like the players coming in late this week, and I told him, and he loved it. And then luckily, my one of my best friends in Belfast was a lady named Debbie McGuire, who ended up marrying one of the players in that video. But she was a choreographer and a professional dancer, and so I told her the idea, and I was like, but like in my head, in my head I see players dancing, but I know they can't dance. So can you help and choreograph it and teach people to dance? And so she actually taught the guys to dance, and I mean, it was at the time, like this is a long time ago when there wasn't a million. If we did that today, it would have gone even more viral, but it went crazy. Like, I mean, I don't know, 500,000 views within like 2 days or something like that. People were like, they played it live at the Detroit Red Wings game or something like that. They talked about it on Hockey Night in Canada. It was huge. So if you haven't seen it, you just have to Google Belfast Giants All I Want for Christmas. And
it's incredible. It really is incredible.
You know how many teams have copied that? Like done the exact video where like they're walking down the hallway and people are coming out of the hallways. It's insane. And
I'm pretty sure Dougie Clarkson did in Toledo.
yes, we had the next year we had like a German basketball team do almost exactly the same video. We've had like the Army doing it from a ship. So many people copied us, but and you know what? We actually had like a real issue because we had like people that were involved in it claiming directorial rights and who was going to be listed as director and who was going to be listed as creative director and who was going to be listed as choreographer, and when all the names came out, because I didn't load the video up, it said like, I think mine said like idea by Todd Kelman or something. The guy was like fifth on the list, and I was like, what happened here? And I just couldn't believe it. I was like, this was my idea. I asked all these people to get involved, and I was like fifth on the credit list. I thought it was hilarious, but so be it. So,
no, it's awesome. But like for me, seeing that list today in the UK, drinking beers with my friends in my shed and getting recognized for it, is one of those moments where you're like,
yeah,
holy shit. Like,
No.
like, holy shit. Like, when you have an idea, I remember the day I had this idea, I was walking the dog, and as soon as I thought of it, I actually texted you. And that's when I like literally the moment I thought of it, I texted you and I was like, I think I could do this type thing. And you were like, yes, you can. And I was like, well, you should be episode 1. And then I think
crickets.
Yeah, because you knew that like we're not, and it all works out. Like we weren't there yet, but now when I saw that today and you're coming on and like, it was just like, what the fuck? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was also almost a 2.3% owner of the Cardiff Devils, and you guys would have got way better shout outs if I was an actual owner.
How did you confuse this? Like
what do you mean? You said screenshots are always your what are they?
Screenshots are always contracts.
Yeah.
Screenshots are always contracts. So,
hey, I got it. I still got the screenshot.
So
bitch, I got 2.3.
so basically, we were talking about like a player. I think it was who's the Belfast player that you interviewed? Alex
Foster.
Alex Foster, right? So you said, listen, this is what you said. Listen to the show. It's good for
I said I only want 1%. And
yeah,
you said 1%'s not enough. How about 2.3? And I said, done.
So, okay, but listen to before that, this is what we were said. You said, listen to this episode, or like wait till this episode comes out. It's great for recruitment, right? And I said something like, I said, why? And you said, well, he kind of like rips on Belfast a bit. And I said, great, you're now head of, I said, like, you're now head of recruitment or something.
You didn't say that. You said, I said, I just want 1%. And you said, how about you said that 1%'s not enough. How about 2.3? And I said, if I take a screenshot of this, is this a contract? And you said, all of my contracts are screenshots now. Read it right now. Read it to the fans. And you tell everybody, tell us what you think. I'm pretty sure I'm an owner. I'm pretty sure I'm going to Switzerland to see pigs.
No, you're not.
And he's getting a testimonial.
Okay. So you text me. Hold on. So this is what you text me. Belfast am I on the screen by myself? Okay. Belfast gonna take a hit when Alex Foster episode comes out. Tough look for them. Cut him halfway through school. I only want 1%. So in my head.
Oh, here we go. Now I'm a brand ambassador, but now you're throwing Belfast under the bus, just nonchalant. I get it, but I could have been
look, do you want me to show this?
No, go ahead. Say it.
Then you say, I only want 1%. Now pause for a second and I can tell you where my head's at this point.
No, there's no pausing. This is real life.
I would be talking.
I said I only want 1%.
Yeah. You didn't say I want 1% ownership. I thought you meant like an agent fee for every player that signs with us instead of Belfast. So I go, ha, $1 million.
Oh, here we go. I never said ownership. You weren't listening to the podcast.
Like time on the show. Ha. I knew they got rid of him, but I didn't know it was halfway through schooling. Yikes. It's real bad, man. That's from you, but it's the truth. Seriously, Wally, what does he say? That they cut him and he has done half his MBA, and they did it to Cold Jarrett. This is great for recruiting, is from what I say. Oh, you have no idea. That's you. I say, oh, great. I'll clip the soundbite. 1% question mark from you? That's not enough. 2.3% done. If a screenshot is a contract, and I wrote all my contracts are screenshots. And that was it. That's the conversation. So what I meant is, I thought you were asking for 2.3% or 1% of any player that signs with us over Belfast.
You're not listening.
You might have guessed by the ha. So then let's talk to the people of what ensued after this, right? So I get a call from Steve King, who's confused as hell that I've
okay, we're pausing you now. Moving on. Next question. You know what? I was 2.3% owner, and now you're making me embarrassed on my own podcast because you did say I was, and I took a screenshot and you said I was a 2.3% owner. And I sent that to Steve and I said, listen, Steve, am I a 2.3% owner or not? And he says, pick up my shares, this can't be real. And I said, well, he said it. He said it to me straight to my face. I was walking the dog.
Yeah. And Steve's like, so Steve calls me laughing. He's like, did you give away some of your percentage to Wally? And I'm like, no. And then, so I think, oh no, Wally's just laughing about it. He's just having a go. Then I get a call from Joey Martin. Hey, did you give Wally 2.3% of the team? I'm like, no, why is everyone telling me this? Wally thinks you gave away 2.3% of the team. And then I go back through that and I'm like, surely Wally isn't this dumb. Like, he's smarter than this, man. He's a successful guy. He tells me how smart he is. What the fuck, Wally? What the hell? My God. So then I have to listen.
I was almost
to the whole episode with Alex Foster. Let me just take you back to that episode for anyone that listened to that. your reaction to him telling you about Belfast getting rid of him is this. This is all you do for like 5 minutes straight. Oh, wow, man, wow, oh boy, wow, whew, wow, wow.
What did you
That's
want
all
me to say? I didn't know. I thought they were supposed to be the good ones.
That's like
I thought they
stellar-
were supposed to be the good ones.
They are good ones.
I
but
know
that's
Kiefer,
stellar-
and I was trying to get him on because I know he's a good dude.
that's
Like,
the stellar
I know they're
journalism,
good
though,
dudes
Wally.
now,
Wally,
but like,
it's your
geez.
show, man. You got to fill that space. You got to fill that blank space with something. You can't just go, ooh, wow. You'd be like,
Okay,
you
I'm
have
trying
make
to be
sense.
better, okay?
Grow,
I'm trying to
grow
be better.
much-
Do you know what you said to me when
What?
I asked for a reference letter and you wrote a really nice one for me when I would go for my interviews?
Yeah.
You sent me the letter, and then I think the actual email said, please try not to sound like dumb and stoned when you talk. And I was like, thanks, Todd. I'll do my best.
So do you want to know why that came from? That was my reference about you when, like, I talked to Lordo the first time. I was like,
They said I was dumb and stoned.
no, I said, so you know that Brent Walton, that player we talked about that we've signed. I was like, he's on the NBA, and he's like, yeah, what's the problem? I'm like, I just talked to him on the phone about his application for the NBA. He was either drunk or stoned, because there's no way. Do you remember? You're like, hey man, this application is pretty complicated. You know, you talk slow like that, and I'm like, what's and I got off the phone. I was like, oh my god, this guy's doing the NBA. We are fucked.
Are
But-
you being serious? Are you
No.
actually serious?
Wally, when you talk, sometimes you sound a little fucking drunk or stoned. I shouldn't be swearing so much to the kids that are listening.
Well, I'm on a.
I'm not. I know you're not.
I wasn't
stoned.
doing a podcast back then, and I probably wasn't drunk or stoned.
All right, moving on. Let's go on. What's the
I
next-
don't smoke weed. We got drug tested in Germany, you donkey.
Oh.
Anyways, moving on. You're a mess. What were we talking about?
I don't know. I don't even know. Your ownership stake in the Cardiff Devils.
So it's not real.
It's not
Okay.
real.
Well, I was gonna ask about selling like 2 ales and hockey tales merchandise in the Devils store that you've now bought too, but you know, if you're not into it, that's fine. I'll just have to make them over here in Canada and then ship them to the UK to where all the listeners are. So that's up to you. Whatever you want to do. You know, you're not even the sponsor. That's Naya Security. The Cardiff Devils, there's no Wally 20, there's no 15. It's just no. No.
Did Nile Securities or the Bayfield Brewing Company have a Wally Night yet? No.
Definitely not. And it is the reason this podcast even exists. No, seriously, like everybody talks about how hard it is. And you know what? I met great people here. I have a great job. They're great people. They trust me. I trust them. I get the work done. I run a department. It's all good. But it took a long time to get to this point. It
yeah.
was
It's a slog, I bet.
oh man, it was a lot of it was a lot worse than like not knowing where you're gonna be in the lineup. It was like every day you're like you just get up and go, right? And you just but they have taken care of me. I have proven myself, and I think a lot of that has to do with an MBA, meeting you, and the rest of the Cardiff Devils. I really think those 2 years changed me as a person. I realized what I can do in 24 hours, and you should see the shit I can get done in 24 hours right now. It is wild. I'm not much of a sleeper, but like I get a lot of shit done, man. Because I love this shit so much.
Yeah, it's I know it. You know what's interesting? I always said I'd like to start a side business on talk, like helping players adjust to the real world, like showing them how to write resumes and CVs for the people in the UK, but also preparing them for life after hockey so that they know how to do interviews, so they know what they're like. Even the last year of hockey, like if they, because nobody thinks about this stuff. No, like you can even the guys taking the MBA, they don't actually prepare for it, and it's the hardest thing. And I mean, I was there. Like I think people think that I played hockey and then fell into it. Like my third year in Belfast, they told us there was going to be no Belfast Giants the next year, and to go home and get regular jobs or find a different job in hockey. And I went home and got a regular job, and I did it for 3 months. I woke up, I had to be in the work and I had to be at work by 8, and I left at 5:30, and I got 20 minutes for lunch that I ate at my desk, and I hated every moment of it. And I realized like not everyone loves their job the way hockey people love their job. And yeah, and I hated it. And and yeah, and you know what's interesting about that? One of my sister's friends, who's friendly with Steve and Kim King. So I was actually at the lake that Steve lives on. They live in like Bonavista Lake or Lake Bonavista in Calgary, and we would always like be on the public side, and we'd swim
Are
across.
these all players trying to text you right now, or who is this right now?
Actually, Katrina sending me messages about what Mark Drakeford said on the at his press conference. So, anyways, yeah. So Steve King's house, you know, you could swim across to Steve's house, and we were all having like a barbecue or something at the beach, and one of their friends, a girl named Kelly, said, so what are you doing now? And I said, oh, I've got a regular job. And she goes, oh, but don't you have to go back to hockey pretty soon? I'm like, no, I'm done hockey. And she was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, oh yeah, no, I've quit. I'm getting a regular job. Buying an apartment downtown, gonna get a regular job, buy a car. Just, that's my new life, you know? She's like, you're 25 or 20, whatever. I was 26. She's like, you have the rest of your life to work a regular job. What are you doing? Like, go back and play hockey. Like that's the coolest job in the world. I'm like, well, I'm not getting rich at it. And she goes, doesn't matter. You can make money later in life. Like, what are you, crazy? And she in that moment convinced me to go back and play hockey. And I honestly called Belfast the next day, and they were starting up the elite league from scratch, and the money was terrible. And they went from like an all import league to like, I think we had 10 imports and 10 Brits that year. And yeah, I called up the coach at the time, and I said, yeah, I want to come back. This was like August 15th or something. I was there by the 18th of August. I literally hadn't trained, hadn't skated the whole summer. And that's how I got back into playing.
Well, I'm telling you, I wanted to write down notes like you do, because you're more talented at this than me, but like, oh man, you hit a nerve there. Like, gosh darn it, and now I can't remember. It was like, oh, I can't remember what did you just say? What did you just talk about? Because I had it all written out, and then I'm like, I got so sidetracked, and then you kept talking. What did you just say? Just general, what did you just say?
I'm eating my chicken, Wally.
I know. Give me a second. What did you just say? And I'll go from there.
I said, I was talking about how I got back into playing, how I basically quit and working a job, and I hated it. And I didn't realize how much,
yes.
I didn't realize how much people loved, like when you work in hockey.
Oh, sorry. I got it. I'm back. We're good. So, the guy that just came on, my best friend in the world, Andrew Lackner, which was the episode before you, and is literally from kindergarten all the way up.
Yeah.
I remember, like I've met father-in-laws that say, you can't marry my daughter until you have a real job. I've met father-in-laws that have said, you should keep playing all the way through. But like, I remember a very successful fella, Super Dave, who was Andrew Lackner's father-in-law, which we got into. I spilt a water bottle in his bed by accident. But basically, he said to me on a golf course one day, he said, you can't always play hockey, but you can always make money, type of thing. And it was the two of us on a golf course. And I don't know, I think I was in Germany at the time, and we were talking about Andrew dating his daughter and everything. And he goes, you can't do that all the time, but you can do the normal stuff. And I guess it's real because I was 32 when I got into the real world, and it did take me I don't know how long, 2 years, 3 years. I'm not sure, but it was a little quicker than some, but it's hard to figure out. It can get very dark, man.
Yep. Oh yeah, and I've seen it with lots of players, lots of buddies over the years. I see guys. I'm a lot older than you, but I've seen a lot of guys that I played with that I haven't seen, or like they got out of hockey in 2003, 2002 time. They never got out of hockey. Like they're working a job they don't like, and they still are kind of hanging on, and are maybe trying to make a living out of coaching or something like that. That isn't like not pro hockey, like trying to like coaching kids or trying to run hockey schools and stuff, because they can't get out of the game because it's addictive. And it's probably like this with most sports, but with a lot of sports, when you're done. Like American football, you either make the NFL or you retire after your last year of university. There's no men's league or the minor leagues in American football, right? Whereas for all of us, we kept playing. And yeah, like people talk to me all the time. They're like, do you miss playing? Like it comes up all the time if I'm at an event giving a talk about something. Like I haven't played for so long that I forget sometimes I played hockey. And then someone says, like something like this comes along, we talk hockey, or someone at an event says, oh man, I didn't realize you played hockey. Like, do you miss it? And I say the same thing every time, every fucking day, man, every day. If I could trade, like I love running a hockey team. If I could rewind and get to play again, like the only thing I probably would have done different is maybe thought about playing another year before. But the thing is, when you're going to be a GM, you take the job when it comes along. I was 31 when I ran that's when I started.
Well, if they approach you and say, now's the time, if you don't do that, it doesn't happen.
Exactly. And so, but I think back to so many times when, I thought I never really thought about quitting until that one summer. And that was just for like a few months, but that was more because I just thought I'd always want to play in Belfast. But like I had buddies in the summers that I'd be like, man, I should quit. Like you guys have these great jobs, and they'd always say, they'd be like, but we didn't like hockey the way you liked hockey. Like you've liked hockey way more than we liked hockey our whole lives. And like I played with guys growing up that were better than me that maybe didn't turn pro because they just didn't have the same drive. And like the thing is, what fans need to understand, and all these players that you talk to and people that love hockey, every story that a guy in the NHL has, it's exact same story we had. Like, no, like it's not like we sit around and go like, oh, we were lazy and didn't make it, like didn't try and didn't shoot pucks against our garage and didn't skate all night and didn't go and play at the outdoor rinks. That's why we didn't make the NHL. No, we all did that too. We just weren't good enough, right? Like that's just like,
yeah, we weren't. Yeah,
like, and it's there's nothing wrong with that, and there's nothing wrong with giving it your best go and not making the NHL and making a career out of something you love. Like if I was if my passion had been to be an investment banker and I didn't become the Wolf of Wall Street or the richest guy in New York, but I became a pretty successful investment banker, it's still the same dream. It's just maybe you didn't get as far as the other guy. And like one of my best friends from university, he made the NHL. And when he made the NHL, I felt like I was so happy for him. And I never wanted to be like bitter that one of my buddies made the NHL. And I think some people get bitter that they didn't make the NHL or someone did better than them. And I always used to say to people, I'm like, wouldn't you rather someone made the NHL than someone you didn't? Wouldn't you rather one of your friends make it? Like,
watching an NHL game when one of my buddies is playing is completely different than watching a random game. I don't give a shit who wins. But one thing I'm going to have to say right now, and you know what? You're going to get all freaked out right now, but 5 or 7 years ago, whenever it was, you swore me to secrecy, but I'm going to have to let the cat out of the bag right now, is that we went out one night. I think it was me, you, and Hendo, actually. I actually think Hendo might have been there, or it was just the two of us. But either way, we went out. No, it was just us two, definitely. And you told me the Berlin Ice Baron brought you over there the first year. We were in the big blue tent, I think. Or it's the second year I'm hurt and we're friends now and we have little kids, and they brought you there and you swore me to secrecy and you said, do not tell anybody about this. And I'm like, I will not, but now I am, because I think it says a lot about who you are and who Steve King is, who everybody is, who the Cardiff Devils are, and that is you. You are the Cardiff Devils, and the people, what you turn that place into, I think it's really cool to watch from Kincardine. Gives me a podcast because all of a sudden I got all these guys I can have on that have won all the shit. Because if they wouldn't have won all that shit, I can't have a podcast. What, they're just a fucking toiling EIHL team. Right?
Yeah, I know. I had a really good opportunity handed to me from Ice Baron, and I turned it down because I'm fiercely loyal, unfortunately, for the Cardiff Devils. I love it, and I love the guys that own the team with me, and I shouldn't say with me, like they own the team and they gave me a little percentage as a kickback kind of thing. So I get to act like I'm an owner.
That's all we want, eh? That's all we want, a little kickback, eh?
Like I got slightly more than your 2.3%. So
jeez, eh?
Yeah, like over the years there's been a few jobs that have come along, and I'm not trying to make it about that, but like I really like what I do, and I really like the guys that, like, I'll never go. Like I love the four guys that own the team. Like, I don't think people realize, unless you played for us, you guys will never realize what we have here, like how fun it is. And Steve and Brian and Craig and Kelly, like, I remember we talked about it the first years. We've talked about it numerous times where it just comes up and they're like, what else do you want? You get to, like, we all are buddies. We all have this team together. We talk about it constantly. We laugh about it every day. Like, I don't know if you could have another job like that. I certainly, like even in Belfast, I loved working in Belfast, but I certainly didn't have this. I just think back to like the Devil Summits with like Lordo and me heading out to Calgary, going to Stampede, meeting up with those guys. Like, some of the best memories I have, and that's not even the season. And then the Champions League games, like, think of when we called you. We called you because we were so drunk in Graz the night before the game, and we were like, let's call Wally. We called in. You know when you're doing the time change, we were certain, like, it just felt like it was the same time. Maybe it was like 11 o'clock. You were probably a couple beers deep, but I think it was like the afternoon of work for you.
No, something. I literally had been at work all day, and I pulled into my driveway from work after working 8 hours or whatever. I pull into my driveway. And I had a missed FaceTime from Todd Kelman on the way home. So I call him back.
Yeah.
And it's you, Steve, Brian, and I think Shosty, right? I think.
Yeah.
So we all see each other. We're all like, oh, right? Like, whoa, what a time. And then you said to them, well, this is why we're going to have a Wally night. And they were like, oh, right. And I was like, so this is actually going to fucking happen.
You know what's funny about that story right there? The fact that you said Shostak. So Shosty didn't come on that trip.
No, I don't think he was. I think it was you. No.
But the funniest thing
I threw him in there because I like him.
But we always have these talks about how, like, the best away trip was Graz, right? And Shosty wasn't on the trip. But we superimposed him in all the pictures. So, like, all the team photos and stuff, Shosty's actually in the background. So we put him in every historic moment in the Devils of us in Graz, there's Shostak, like, back corner with his arm around someone or something. But he was never actually there. But whenever we were reminiscing, he's the first one to go like, Remember Gratz? Remember how good Gratz was? So
Well, you know, when I'm feeling it is when I never look at my notes. And my next thing is you guys were well, we were in the big blue tent, but you were never in video games until the fucking year I'm done. Like literally, the year I'm done, you're on PlayStation and you're like the Cardiff Devils and you got the whole squad. And I'm like, if I could have bought one video game with me on it for the kid to have for his life, I'm 1 year out, you know?
yeah, sorry, man. You know what? EA Sports would have probably the whole game would have blown up if they put the big blue tent in there. You know?
Oh, you imagine?
I don't think they wanted it. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think it's allowed
That
on
rink,
there. I don't think yeah.
that rink, man. Oh, I love that. I love that rink. I watch like classic games now. I don't watch all the classic games, but when it's a big blue tent game, I watch the whole thing. I love that rink. It was such a good atmosphere. It was crazy. Like I just think of the crowd in there, like right on top. And I love the new rink. I love Ice Arena Wales. I think it's the best atmosphere in the league. But the big blue tent, like you know what's funny? I can say it now. I'm sure I've said it to other people on a podcast before. We we used to be able to like, so we couldn't really do anything with the seated tickets, right? Because we'd sell those out right away. But we could do something with the standing tickets. But the manager of the rink was Adam Porter, and he would always kind of be careful about like restricting the number of standing tickets. And one game he came in and I know we sold about 300 extra standing tickets. It was insane. Like it was a Sheffield game or a Nottingham game, and the place was jammed, and we'd sold out of the seats for probably 2 weeks before. And I was just like, screw this. Let's just print our own standing room tickets and sell them, right? Me and Aglin printed probably 200 or 300 extra tickets because we just whatever. I just please can't get us now. It's been 7 years. And Porter walks in and he looks around. And he's like, "Oh my God, it's so busy in here." And I was like, "Yeah, there's like 3 extra wheelchairs, so it seems a lot busier. Like because the wheelchairs, they take up a little space back there, so it feels a lot busier because of the 3 wheelchairs." He's like, "There's only 3 more wheelchairs than normal." I'm like, "I know, it seems like it makes a huge difference. It feels way more crowded." But and honestly, there was over 2,600 people in there. That's the most we ever got in there. We might
Dude, that place, like, I don't think I've even put this out there for the podcast or anything, but like, there was a guy from Waterloo, Ontario that did a documentary on us that year. That's from my hometown. Like his mom like taught me in school, and like the beauties that were on that team and that arena, and like the thing is when I look back on it and like I start figuring it out, like I went to Germany, I didn't have a lot of expectations. Like I'm from Elmira, like I'm not a city boy, but like you get some city boys over there, it may not always go as well.
Yeah,
right.
I know. I love that place, and the fans loved it too, man. Jesus, but God, thank God, like the place was falling apart. Remember that second year? I was talking to Lee Salters one time, and he walks in the shower. He turns the water on. He falls through the floor. Doesn't skip a beat. Just keeps showering. Doesn't even skip a beat. He's 2 feet deep into the ground, and he's just like that. And he just left the shower on, and it was like the floor was like up to his knees. He was just sitting in the dirt.
Fun fact: he's coming on Friday night.
Is he? Oh, I love that guy. Tell him I say hello. One of my favorite guys. If there's a guy that looked like he should be in the NHL, it's Lee Salters.
Well, not just look in the NHL, like best looking person,
Yeah.
best looking man I've ever met, like in my life.
Yeah, I should
have you met a better looking man?
I should have a picture of him as my mirror, and just in the morning I should just see Lee Salters instead of me. I'd be so much happier.
You think so? You think looking like a fake would help? I don't think so. If I saw that, it would just make me upset every day. It's like not being number 1 in the UK when I tried to be. I got to 6th. So this week we're going to correct that. I'm going to be number 1, and everybody can fuck off. Spit and chicklets, everybody fuck off. we're going to be number 1 in the UK this week. We got, you don't know this. You're today. Hendo's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Lee Salters is Friday.
Jeez.
And Guy Doucette is Monday.
Oh,
So everybody can go fuck off. I'm going to be number 1 in the UK. And that website, whatever they said, go time, baby. Let's rock. You know?
yeah, absolutely.
But I don't know what else we got to talk about because I haven't looked at my notes. And
That's
I
good.
know you got
I hope
stuff going on.
That's my whole career.
And that's kind of how I go, man. Like I don't know. I learned a lot from you, like literally watching you that first year where you were outside the arena asking fans like what they want, right? Okay, here we go. So like, when I have a team of guys, and a gal that on my team that like we've been through all this stuff together lately. My last job review was they would paint your house for you. That was the review. And I was like, well, it's because I learned from you. Because I think basically everybody around the Cardiff Devils, it would be a player, it would be an equipment manager, it would be anybody would paint your house. Like if you asked, they would actually go there and paint your house because that's the way you treat people. And that's the way I've treated my people from learning from you. So thank you.
That's very nice. Honestly, it means a lot. Thank you. I wish, I hope more people feel like I've done something for them, and I'm not for personal gain. I just sometimes it's nice to have wisdom. I wish I listened a little bit more to the older guys on my team that told me stuff when I was younger. And I think everyone in life needs mentors or people to look up to. I'm very lucky because I've got 4 great guys that own the team that I can always bounce ideas and always look after. They've gone through a lot more than I have business wise. And I've got a lot of experience of screwing up. Like that's, I screwed up a lot, did some stupid things, done some dumb promotions, lost, did terrible things for tickets, stupid ideas for season ticket holders. I've done a lot of dumb things, and you kind of can find, I've been lucky enough to have ownership that let me screw up a lot, especially in Belfast. I basically got to screw up for 7 years and then come to Cardiff and take a lot of what I learned in Belfast and put it into place here. But yeah, no, I'd love to come on the show again. We can talk more. I love the stuff that you're doing. The guys are having a blast doing it, and I'm sure the fans are loving it. And it's good for us because our fans need more of this, especially during the last 12 months. All the lockdown and lack of Devils games and stuff. It's been nice for them to have this to look forward to. And you're cranking them out, man. Fuck, I don't know how you do it.
It's from learning from Luke Piggott, buddy. I learned from Luke Piggott how to be efficient in a day. And like you can get a lot of shit done in a day. Like you really can. Like I'm doing my real job. That there is no doubt about that. That is number one. But like this is what I want to do in my spare time. And if I have spare time, this is what I'm doing. Like this is what I want to do. And if I got to book a babysitter for 2 hours while we do this, then I book a babysitter for 2 hours because that, like you said one time, there should be more Wally,
Everyone should have a little more Wally. Absolutely. So yeah. So let's do it again sometime. Thanks very much for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
No, thank you. And hopefully you make it home on time.
I will. Thanks.